Mandalorian has been the flagship series of Disney Plus since its release, and has been loved by fans. However, I've heard a lot of criticism for the show this season. I've heard it called messy, filled with filler, and not a true season of The Mandalorian. While I understand many of these criticisms, and even agree to an extent, I don't think this season was as bad as many people made it out to be. Is it the weakest season of The Mandalorian? I would say so, but it's not the disaster everyone made it out to be. To start out, let's talk about the things I liked. First of all, out of all the seasons of the series, this is the most visually stunning of the bunch. I remember watching the Minds of Mandalore episode and thinking how far the stagecraft technology has come. In the first couple seasons I had some problems with it, but here, outside of maybe a couple shots here and there, I didn't have any problems with it. It looks fantastic. I also like the focus on Bo-Katan this season. I know a lot of people didn't, but to me it made sense. Considering that this season was pretty much about rebuilding Mandalore, I think having her be essentially the lead of this season made sense. To me, Din Djarin was really never that character who was going to lead Mandalore. He just never came off as that kind of guy to me. Bo-Katan, however, and Katie Sackhoff was great this season. I would love to see the character in further shows, whether in this one or maybe Ahsoka or something else. Some of the individual episodes this season were also very good. I really liked the second episode, Minds of Mandalore, which followed up a pretty messy premiere in The Apostate. I love the exploration of Mandalore and the eventual discovery of the Mythosaur. It's all just a fantastic episode and one of my favorites of the season. The Pirate was also one of my favorites of the season. I really liked how they showed the New Republic, while better than the Empire, is still not a perfect government by any means, with them refusing to help out Navarro despite the fact that they've been taken over by pirates. And everything involving the Mandalorians this episode was awesome. I really loved just seeing the action scenes, whether it was on the air, on the ground, whatever. All of it was fantastic, visually stunning, and really well executed. The final two episodes of the season, The Spies and The Return, are two very strong episodes to end the season. The big reveals in The Spies with Bo-Katan revealing she gave up the Darksaber to Moff Gideon and then he betrayed her. All the Imperial warlords working as a unit under maybe Thrawn to some extent. I thought The Return could have been a little longer, but overall these two episodes were a very satisfying ending to a season that had some inconsistent episodes. However, like I said earlier, this season has a lot of valid criticism. Let's start with The Convert. The Convert is an episode that I understand is important, but it's just weird how it's placed. Like, it's just one episode of Dr. Pershing. The episode has a good idea, but it just doesn't execute it well enough, and it's just kind of weird that it's kind of plopped into the season. Like, this could have been spread throughout, like, maybe the first half of the season, and it wouldn't have been as weird because we still would have had the Mando stuff, the Bo-Katan stuff, whatever. It's just a weird placing of the episode, and it just feels like a B-rate Andor to me. By the way, watch my Andor video if you haven't, and also Andor is the best Star Wars show of all time, so just watch it. Also, Guns for Hire might be my least favorite episode in the entire series. Like, the cameos of Jack Black, Lizzo, and Christopher Lloyd, they're all distracting at the end of the day. And most of this episode is just entirely filler until like the final 5-10 minutes. Maybe if the side quest is more entertaining, I would be more open-minded to it, but I just didn't care about the mystery story with the droids that much. I like the season 1 callback with Mando talking to the Ugnaughts, but outside of that, I didn't really care for it that much. The worst part is I thought the directing of the episode was fine. Like, Bryce Dallas Howard did a good job with what she was given. Like, the episode looks nice, has some nice shots, but as a whole, it falls short of what it could be. I think this season suffers from something in general. Studio interference. Like, I think those couple episodes that were essentially Mandalorian episodes in the Book of Boba Fett, I'm not sure what happened, but I think like an executive or someone didn't really like the Book of Boba Fett, or at least didn't think it would perform well, and thought, hey, let's squeeze in these episodes of The Mandalorian because these are actually really good. Think about it. Grogu had way more to do in those episodes than he did for most of this season until like the final couple episodes. I mean, he's just kind of shoved in here, and he would have been given something to do here. And what does a character like the Armorer or Ahsoka or Luke have to do with Boba Fett? Nothing. And I think The Apostate kind of proves my theory here. It's a messy episode that has to set up a lot of stuff, and they could have set up a lot of that stuff in the first 2-3 episodes of this season if they just let them do that, you know? And it didn't make sense for the show. I mean, it made sense for Mando to be there, but it didn't make sense for the show to focus on him in the second half of the season. And I think that kind of forced Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni and everyone else involved to just kind of scramble some filler episodes together like Guns for Hire. I mean, I don't really think that this season is entirely on Jon Favreau or Dave Filoni. I think this season is more on the studio just interfering, because those first 2 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett would have been a really nice start to this season. I think a lot of the emotional moments fall short this season because they're underdeveloped, and I think having those couple episodes and also just removing the filler would have made those moments, like a lot of the Bo-Katan stuff, feel more emotionally involved. I mean, whether my theory is true or not, the season needed more quality episodes that focused on the main story. However, like I said, as a whole, the season isn't bad, but it could have been a lot better. I mean, it's not as bad as people made it out to be. I enjoyed watching it most of the time, but it doesn't have the impact that the first 2 seasons had, and I felt disappointed after finishing the season. If I had to rate it, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. It's not bad at all, it's decent, but at the same time, it could have been a lot better if they just had more focus and had more time to write the scripts. I just want to thank you all for watching this video. Consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. I release 2 to 3 videos on YouTube Shorts every week about Star Wars. I'm playing some Marvel stuff, and I release a music video every once in a while just because why not? Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.